This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show. Wait. Oh, we know we already did that part.
Yeah.
Oh.
Babe.
On.
Babe.
Bat-Wagon. Welcome back to Babe on the Babe-Wagon. I'm James, and I'm here to show my friend Brian the entire DC animated universe.
Wait. What? You say that. You have this whole minute-long spiel that starts with "I'm James" and blah 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 blah.
And I'm here to show my friend Brian the entire... I see your name 4 words later.
I guess. Doesn't it feel like an introduction-y thing?
For me? Yeah, I'm the more important one.
Oh, okay.
I'm James, and I'm here to show my friend Brian the entire DC animated universe from start to finish. Do you want me to say it differently? I've reworded it so many times. I thought I found the right way. God damn it.
No.
Controversial airdate order. So he may view these shows the way human beings experienced them in the far gone days of the 1990s.
They're not that far gone. It's 5 years ago.
They're more gone You're so much younger yesterday, said Haley Steinfeld. We recommend you watch today's DCAU episode before listening to this podcast to get the full experience out of our discussion. At the time of this recording, Batman the Animated Series is available to stream on HBO Max and available on DVD and Blu-ray. And please, if you send in mail or leave a comment, do not spoil anything past this episode for Brian. Today we're watching Sideshow, which you guessed was Clayface and Joker having a hug-off. Off to the side, and it's a show.
And I'm
also
Brian.
Killer Croc's origin story. Thank you. You've been waiting.
I just want to throw that in more and more increasingly awkward places.
Cass, you want to hear the cast? And I'm Brian.
It's a thing now, baby. Brace yourselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sideshow originally aired Tuesday, May 3rd, 1994. No skip days.
Wait. No.
What?
What was the last one?
Monday, May 2nd.
The second? Oh, I thought it was
day.
The 7th or 8th or something like that.
We went back in time.
I was really scared for a minute there.
4:30 p.m. on Fox. Produced number 66, right after The Worry Men. Aired number 67.
Okay, am I having a stroke?
Yes.
What was the last produced one? Because I thought the last produced... Or did it air 66, the last one?
The last one aired 66.
Okay. Yes. See, okay. I'm doing good. This is okay.
Go back in time.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, we have Teleplay by Michael Reeves and Bryn Stevens.
We got the Reeves Stevens going on.
But not Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. It's a different Reeves and it's different Stevens.
Oh, my brain.
My brain. This episode's not good for Brian.
Can we start over again, please?
Yeah, here we go. Michael Reeves notably wrote Pretty Poison, Perchance to Dream, and I Am the Night. And bullshit, Bryn Stevens, I just said BS. Heart of Steel, Birds of a Feather, Shadow of the Bat. Story by Michael Reeves, directed by Boyd Kirkland. Perchance to Dream, Beware the Gay Ghost. Gay Ghost, Beware the Gay Ghost. I'm gonna start over. Director Boyd Kirkland. Boyd Kirkland. Notably, Perchance to Dream, Beware the Grey Ghost, I Am the Night, House and Garden. We just watched that.
We did just watch HGTV.
HGTV. Music by Michael McQuistion. Notably, I Am the Night, Christmas with the Joker, and The Demon's Quest Part 1.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Animation by Dong Yang. Layout by Spectrum. That's all the credits.
Nice.
Now we watched the show.
Oh.
Sideshow. Clay, who do you think is going to win the hug-off? Clayface or Joker? I think Clayface is just going to absorb Joker into his body.
Yeah, he's a really good hugger.
He's dead. So Joker would win. Joker wins by default.
He's in the water. He's fine.
He's in the water. You're always fine when you're in the water, especially if you're made of face cream. There's a cat.
It's still cat week.
We're still
folks.
in the cat house because we just finished recording the last one. Let's go watch Sideshow.
No, I don't mind sleeping out on the straw. Go ahead and take my bedroom.
And don't put yourself out for me.
The cot's too small anyway.
And tomorrow we'll go swimming, right, Croc? Oh, there's the coolest grottos along the river. It's like another world.
Yeah, sure, kid. Too bad I forgot my bathing suit.
That's right. Our new friend here is going to need additional raiment.
Huh?
He means clothes.
Oh, yeah? You guys got money?
Just a small nest egg left over from the purchase of this mill.
50,000.
Oh, thank you, Goliath. It's not something we like to broadcast.
50 grand, eh? A guy could go to town on that.
Arnold!
Dog care.
Dog, what? Dog care.
Texting Kimmy about dog care.
Oh. What happened in, I almost said slideshow. What happened in Sideshow, Brian? Sideshow, Brian.
Sin-yop, if you're wondering. Sin-yop, what you just watched. Sin-yop, take a listen to the synopsis. The short and summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
It's like such a pause now to like, what happened? Don't tell me yet, though. I did the thing. But then you just sit here like, yay. The little song.
I like your conducting and dancing along to it.
Yeah.
Man, well,
This was an interesting episode.
it was a really unique one.
Yeah.
Killer Croc is on a train. He's been imprisoned and is going someplace upstate.
East, probably. I don't know.
And he busts.
He busts. Oh boy, does he.
He busts out of his containment. Mm-hmm. And
just as they expected.
Yeah.
Well, wake me up if he gets loose or something. He's loose.
Yeah, 30 seconds later.
I hope that was like on purpose, sort of.
Probably. He busts out. Luckily, Batman is undercover on the train.
I laughed pretty hard at that. Like, mustache guy was just Batman.
Yeah. Doing the full Superman Clark Kent, pulling his like suit open, and the bat suit is revealed or whatever. The bat onesie.
The bat ones.
And there's a rooftop train fight between Killer Croc and Batman.
You said like, this is our second train top fight. I think the first one was like Cat in the Claw Part 2, like forever ago. So it's weird that you like include like, I remember.
Do you remember our memory conversation we had on the drive over here?
It included talking about, I guess you said you would remember specific things.
Yeah.
Not the episode.
Yeah. So I couldn't tell you what episode it was, but I do remember the train fight. Strange things happen. So anyway, there's a train fight. Batman and Killer Croc go descending off of the train and down into one of 40 canyons, or one of the 40 levels of canyons just outside of Gotham City.
Canyons,
It's canyons all the way down. I'm proud of that one, actually.
It's a subtitle. You got it.
Yeah, it's a good one. I wonder if there's some kind of like metaphor of like descending and anyway.
It's like the levels of hell.
Yeah, buddy. Wow.
Dante's Canyon.
Freaking Dante. That's an inside joke.
I don't know.
It's okay. Kimmy's going to laugh.
Okay.
And probably no one else unless Ellen happens to listen to this episode.
Who's that?
Ellen?
No, I know for the listener.
Oh, Ellen.
It's Ellen.
Ellen's the person, dear listener, that you really want to know when you really want to be friends with, but
you shouldn't. I'm kidding. Anyway, what happens next?
And then there is the most intriguing, super slow-paced chase scene.
I think it's like musicless too, like mostly. I felt like that added to the tension or whatever of like, I'm overlapping you. I'm sorry.
That's what you do.
This is your
just go with it.
It's the part where you go.
Okay, so various things happen. Like Croc got tranked on the train, and so he's kind of struggling a bit. And Batman gets knocked out, and then Killer Croc throws a big rock at him, but doesn't hit him.
Yeah,
Batman's like knocked out cold, and he misses.
He could have killed him right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he was like an inch away from doing so.
Yeah,
he threw a rock at him.
It
was a big rock.
It was a big rock.
It's a big rock.
And then so like Killer Croc gets like a head start, but then he's having a hard time like making his path and getting over all these obstacles. And Batman like wakes up and he's like, time to pursue. But it's all like at walking pace. Some other shit happens.
But he pushes over a tree, which you did a.
That's not how that works.
Which was because the top of the tree probably would have snapped off, but also you were mad that he was like able to even push it out of the ground that way or something.
Yeah.
Why?
Like
roots. I don't know roots.
These things were like presumably redwoods.
I muted myself to clear my throat, and then I across the room.
So like presumably redwoods, and Killer Croc just pushes one over.
Yeah,
he's a strong guy, but I don't think there's a single.
He's got the strongest jaws of any fucking
dude. Like, considering they were struggling to push a tractor out of the mud later in the episode, like, there's not a tractor on the planet that could just push over a wood.
Just, like, flick it.
There's not, like, there's not, like...
Superman strength.
I honestly think, like, 30 to 40 tractors would have a hard time pushing over a redwood.
That was a big tree, yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, a small, like, a 6-inch tree.
You see he was pushing so hard that veins popped in his forehead.
Oh, that's what it was.
There you go.
Anyway, so then he managed to push over this redwood across this, like, canyon. And it stops just the last like 3 to 5 feet of the tree, and somehow that holds the entire weight of the like 30-foot diameter tree at the base. Like that's not how that works. Anyway, so there's some obstacles, and Killer Croc ends up trying to jump across a waterfall and slipping like whoopsie style.
He has like a eyes going all directions, like I'm dizzy, and then he just immediately and then falls out, slips. I'm like his heel hits the rock and slips, and he immediately falls. There's just like a whole like Austin Powers style like
down like several waterfalls.
Yeah, there's nothing but vocals and sound effects. There's no music. It's just him down the waterfall. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and then he's like going down this river, and he is saved by a seal boy.
He's the seal boy, yeah.
A sideshow
Billy the seal
attraction.
Boy. Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those. What are those called? Philitum, like
I don't know.
Philitum. There's like this like series of kids who had deformities.
That's what I was trying to figure out, was whether
like
he was intended to be that, or if he like was like part animal or something, because it's weird science TV show, but
could be anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, the seal boy rescues Killer Croc and brings him to this mill where there's a collection of 4 sideshow peoples
that have to dress like their old selves,
but somehow still wearing their like we retired from the circus, but now we dress exactly
in this
like
house together. We've left that life behind, but we're going to still dress like we are in the circus.
Yeah.
Oh, we need some new clothes? Yeah, so do we, buddy. I don't know. We've been looking for clothes for days.
So you've got the ringleader who's like a hunchback. You've got a couple of conjoined twins named after months of the year. Mm-hmm. You've got the seal boy, and you've got Goliath who's
from
bigger
Gargoyles.
Than Killer Croc.
Yeah, he's just a big guy, I guess.
He's just a really big guy. So they like kind of start to integrate and like adopt Killer Croc, but Killer Croc's like having a time and deciding he wants to steal what money they have left, and then Batman shows up and he just causes all sorts of chaos. Let me tell you, and it's kind of everybody versus Batman at the beginning, and then Killer Croc's like, I'm going to kill that guy. And they're like, no, don't do it. And Killer Croc's like, well, I guess I want to kill you too, or whatever. And then there's a big fight, and lo and behold, Batman wins. Killer Croc end up being Hannibal Lectered and helicoptered
That's
away.
What it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. I was just, why are they ringing him up like, and you're like, yeah, that guy. Yeah, I know. Like, we'll figure it out later. Yeah.
Yeah. The end, I guess.
I guess the end. Yeah, Batman stands there and the music plays like always.
Yeah.
En route to an upstate prison, Killer Croc escapes and leads Batman on a dangerous chase through the wilderness. This is the official synopsis. After throwing Batman temporarily off his trail, the Reptile Man takes refuge with a group of retired circus freaks and convinces them to help him. When Batman arrives, Croc and the freaks, stop calling them that, band together to capture him. But when Croc attempts to kill the Dark Knight, the freaks see Croc's true colors and come to Batman's rescue. Yeah, they even make a point in the episode of like, you're not. Was like, oh, he's only human, like so much more than you could say, or something like that. And they're like, oh, and they see the problem. But then the thing, they're like, the freaks, then the freaks do this, and there's such freaks. God. Anyway,
we love the freaks.
Yeah. Okay, surprisingly like gem of an episode that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
This one's always on my list of like, oh, skip this. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like bottom 10 material when I was coming, because so it was. I think I don't remember if it was Mask of the Phantasm or one of the more recent podcast episodes. I had said like I can really only think of like a couple of remaining btas episodes that are going to be like groaners, like, oh man.
And this was one of
them. This is what I thought. I was like, oh, the circus one, like that, the Killer Croc and the circus people, like obviously that's not a good episode. This is a pretty good episode. Like, I had a kind of weird ending, like a little bit sloppy execution of the Batman Croc fight at the end. But,
yeah, the fight got a little bit lazy, I think, but mostly in comparison to like how inventive the rest of it was.
Yeah. Because you put a bagel in the toaster oven when we started the episode, and it dinged in the middle, so I paused it, and I was sitting there going like, is this actually an okay episode? I'm so confused. And I said like I was waiting for the shoe to drop of like, oh, that's why this episode sucks. And I don't really think it got to that point of like, there it is. I don't think there was anything that made me feel like, yep, this is a bad episode. But when they're fighting on the, what is that called? The like water wheel thing.
Yeah, whatever.
There's like a weirdly angled shot where Croc sees that like the trough of water or whatever is coming, and he's not going to be able to fit between the wheel and it. But then it just like cuts to people's reactions, and then the next shot, Croc is bursting out of the like bottom of the top of the wheel, and then he falls and like hits his face on the bottom and gets knocked out or something. And it all happened so fast and from such weird angles that I just said, what just happened? And you're like, I'm not really sure. What?
Actually, I just had an additional what the fuck.
Yeah.
Because like you have the water wheel thing. Mm-hmm. And you did it again. You have the water wheel. Mm-hmm. And we've seen them go over the top of this already.
Oh yeah, they were standing at the top, and it went. Yeah.
So where is this thing
that it's now lower?
Also, like, that's also not how like you see the water wheel where like the water goes over, and then makes a waterfall onto the trough.
Right, that's what moves it. Yeah.
But like, well, I mean, it ends up being the outfeed or whatever.
Sure.
But like, there's never a thing on top, and suddenly there's a thing on top that's able to squish people.
I don't know.
What? Where did that come from?
I just felt like a weird storyboarding choice, or like maybe the script wrote like Croc gets squished between parts of the wheel, because that seems conceivable. Like that seems like, oh, they're kind of on a semi-dangerous object, but then like, what does that mean? I guess I don't know. Let's just kind of put it ambiguous camera angles that make it seem like something happened.
that very well could be the issue.
Well, and you also said, like, you had a good point of, and that's how Batman drowned himself, because he moved the little, like, thing that's stopping the wheels, and then he slams his body into the inside of the cage so that he can roll over top of Croc, but he, like, misses, like, literally rolls over top of him, and then magically hits the perfect rock that breaks him out of the thing, or else he just
did we talk about
sank.
him in the circus wagon? I don't think we we might have glossed over that.
Whatever. Batman's in a wagon.
Yeah, he's in a circus wagon
in the
with
Bat-Wagon.
but with bars and stuff. He's in a jail on wheels.
Why did they have that?
Probably for the lions or whatever.
Did they bring the whole circus?
I think they just saw those wagons. Those are good wagons. We can move our stuff in it or something.
Yeah.
It was the circus freak equivalent of U-Haul.
All the stuff they have, for blankets and money.
Yeah.
Why did Goliath say, I can sleep on the straw outside? And then when you see him, he's sleeping on a pile of logs. This looks more comfortable.
I don't think I noticed that.
He's sleeping on a firewood stack or something.
He's Goliath. Big logs feel like straw to him.
That's true. They are little sticks. I don't know. I thought it was going to be these are some silly, stupid characters. That's what was in my brain. But I actually kind of appreciated everything that was happening, especially the front half with them running through the forest and how long and scenic that was and stuff.
And there's some really good art in there, them stepping through the puddle and all the colors, the reflections of nature around just turning into a wash.
Yeah, the painting turned into it.
That was super cool.
Drawing, yeah. And Batman does it right after that, and all the parallax of the trees moving faster in the foreground.
The
and stuff.
3 layers stuff with Croc and I think also Batman maybe running through it. No, maybe it was just one. That was seriously cool.
Also, probably one of the better times, the better drawing of Croc that we've seen. His first episode was a little bit too hyper detailed. Whatever company did that, and then he was in Almost Got Him, but I feel for some reason he still didn't look as good as in this one. He just looked very sharp, very consistent, and his weird mouth gape side things were consistently it's kind of scary looking instead of just what am I looking at? I don't know. Yeah, I was surprisingly impressed with the episode.
Me too.
And I did not expect to be more kind of a nice episode compared to House and Garden. I thought this was going to be way flipped.
See, that's the interesting thing. Watching HGTV, I don't know why that still makes me giggle. Watching that, I was like, "Oh, this is a weird Batman episode. This is not him in his city. This is a weird setting. I don't like this so much."
I think it was different because he was still in the city, but in the
suburbs,
sun. But then in this, he's on the sunlight, but it's in the forest. I don't know.
Well, that was the thing. Is coming from that, I was like, "Oh, Batman in an unfamiliar, weird thing. I don't like it. It doesn't work." And then here he is, in the woods and out in nature and in the canyons, and it was just
they say this city's dangerous.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is totally fine. Mm-hmm. It's just that I think when you put him in the happy suburbs, then it just seems awkward as hell. But this is totally okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of. I think this is a perfect time that I could read Tigers on the Hunt. I brought that with me.
Oh my God! Please regale.
There's circus cats. I don't know. That was my only segue into this.
Yeah, man. Why not?
So it's only 4 pages long. So if anyone doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, I brought this up in the Tiger or Twiger. It's pronounced Twiger the second time episode, where I was chosen somehow that I don't remember in 2nd grade. It turns out it says grade 2 on the paper.
Nice.
I wrote a short story that was then submitted to some sort of writing festival thing or something for kids, and I did a good and got brought to this place, and I got to read the story in front of people, and then that was it. And I had to confirm this with my mom, this really happened, right? This I'm not just remembering this weird thing that popped in my head or whatever. And then they brought over a tub of old stuff of mine, and I hoped that my Batman the Animated Series shower curtain was in there, but it wasn't.
What?
But maybe it'll turn up eventually. Or maybe it might have just been normal curtains. It was a curtain of some kind. But Tigers on the Hunt was in there. It's only 4 pages long, double spaced, so it's kind of short. James Strecker, Captain Robert Gray Elementary School, grade 2. Tigers on the Hunt. You want to hear it? This award-winning masterpiece.
Can we play some music in the background?
Yeah, we should find something. Brian, while I was finding the phone cord to play music, he stuffed a towel in his microphone arm.
And check it. Yeah.
Way better. This is way better. Okay, so I will preface this by saying I did not read any of this as soon as I found it, so I have not read this since like 1998 or whatever when I wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
I did read the final sentence to confirm that, yes, this is worth reading on the podcast.
Okay.
So okay, here's some relaxing music. Let's go to the background. Okay. Tigers on the Hunt by James T. Strecker.
Ooh.
One hot summer evening when the birds weren't to be heard and everything was still and silent. What? Down? Yeah. There was a huge paw print in the ground right next to the biggest tree in the whole jungle.
Oh.
All of a sudden, the ground started to shake. The jungle was rocked by a humongous roar, and out of the bushes came the biggest tiger you ever saw. It was a saber-toothed tiger. Just then, the tiger spotted a snow deer.
The biggest snow deer in
you
the
ever
forest.
saw. He crouched down and got a little closer. Suddenly, the tiger sprang out and devoured his prey.
Wow.
I think that's my, prologue scene, movie-wise. That's the end of scene, the
Oh, okay.
before the opening credits.
Sure.
Not far from that same jungle, a polite boy named James and his parents went to the zoo. Why am I a polite boy?
The biggest polite boy you've ever seen.
I bet that the smallest, I bet that the animals here, such as a crocodile, lived millions of years ago, said James. That's right, said his father, Eugene. That's my dad's birth name.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, why would I know that?
I don't know. I figured I'd share that with you by now.
Oh my God.
Just then, a naughty kid opened up the cages to the monkeys. Everybody fled. The monkeys went over to the tiger's cage. They opened it. James fled with his parents. I liked fled, I guess. Looking for somewhere to hide. All of a sudden, the tiger pounced right for James. He ran as fast as he could as the huge tiger barely got him, but landed on top of a trash can. Barely got him. Barely didn't got me.
Did you get
James
him?
and his parents ran all the way home. I think we could not outrun a tiger. Whew, that was a close one, James sighed in relief. His parents sat down before the TV while James played upstairs. The news reporter said, just a few minutes ago, a 3,000-pound tiger escaped from the zoo.
God.
It is very dangerous. The tiger from the zoo slunk down the street, scattering people in all directions. All of a sudden, a huge saber-toothed tiger jumped out from behind the bushes. The two tigers encircled each other and sniffed one another's tails.
Okay.
Back at the house, James came down from upstairs. Mom, Dad, I read something on the internet about the tigers, said James. We heard that too, on the news, said his mom and dad. I'm afraid we can't go to the zoo anymore. Why is that? Asked James. Because they also said on the news that the zoo got ruined by the tiger. The zoo is closed forever now.
Oh, shit.
Okay, said James sadly, going up the stairs. That night, James dressed up in a black suit and mask.
Oh, really?
I'm Bruce Wayne now.
Really?
He sneaked into the zoo. James cleaned up all the trash James cleaned up all the trash from the trash can the tiger had landed on. He cleaned up the whole place until it was morning. Then James went back to the house. I fixed the zoo. If I ran the zoo. 10 minutes later, his mom, Kathleen, woke him up. Time to get up, she said. But, Mom, I'm really sleepy still. Well, you can sleep in for 5 more minutes, she said. At that moment, James fell right asleep. That was my normal morning routine. Why did I include this? That was my life. That's all I know, I guess, in 2nd grade. Not too far away, the two tigers got closer and closer to James's house. That night, the tigers arrived at his house. They clung onto the bars of the gate surrounding his yard. The next morning, James woke up with a long, loud yawn.
The gate?
I don't know.
You didn't have a fence. You just had one big gate that surrounded the whole yard.
Also, the tigers spent all day sniffing each other's tails, then went to my house, and they're still there? I don't know.
Yeah.
The next morning, James woke up with a loud, long yawn. Good morning, Mom, James said, but there was no answer. James got out of bed and went downstairs. Good morning, Mom, James yelled at the top of his lungs, but there was no answer still.
Oh, no!
Just then he heard a loud bark. James ran out to the front yard and found his parents standing in the garden and saw his dog Taz barking at the two 3,000-pound tigers in front of her. These are so heavy. The saber-toothed tiger made a snarling sound, and Taz ran away with a whimper right into her doghouse. James, Kathleen, and Eugene looked at each other. Then they darted into the house. The tigers growled, then turned around and started walking away. Taz still stayed in her doghouse until the tigers were out of sight. What?
They left?
They just needed to intimidate us. That afternoon, James put his face to the window. Just then a squirrel jumped from the trees. James jumped back. He thought it was a tiger. It's only a squirrel, laughed his mom. That
Idiot.
night, that's the whole scene. That night, James knew he had to do something about the tigers. They were destroying the town. He put on his costume.
Intimidating dogs.
He put on his costume and mask again. He brought a rope from his basement, a dead turkey from Thanksgiving, and a net his father used to fish with.
Dead turkey for Thanksgiving.
You know, he went into the jungle feeling very afraid. All of a sudden, that's my favorite phrase,
my God.
The tigers spotted him. They chased after James until he was out of breath. Then he looked back and saw that the tigers were gone. James got out the rope. I'm very confident that myself at age 2 in a pre-Batman Bruce Wayne costume can outrun two tigers, 3,000 pounds.
They're just about intimidation. They chased you until you were out of breath, and they're like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, just gotta make him scared. James got out the rope. He tied it to the net. Then he put it on the ground. He covered it with leaves and got the dead turkey and placed it in the middle of the net. Then he climbed up in a tree and held onto the rope. James tried to feel brave. When the tigers came around that part of the jungle, they saw the dead turkey and ran over to eat it. When the tigers were in his trap, James brought up the rope and caught them in the net. I caught two 3,000-pound tigers in a fishing net with my second-grade arms.
Hey, man, it's just 6,000 pounds of tiger. You're fine.
James heard the police car sirens and carefully tied the rope. I'm Batman. Carefully tied the rope to the... They threw a rock at me. Tied the rope to the tree so the tigers wouldn't get away. I guess this is relevant. I'm in like the forest or something.
Yeah. This is basically Killer Croc.
Then he ran home. This is the last page. When the policemen saw the tigers wrapped up, they called the zoo and told them that the tigers were captured. They brought the tigers back to the zoo and told the zookeeper that now they had a saber-toothed tiger too.
Wow, you brought him back from extinction.
It's just there, I guess. When the zookeeper came to look at the zoo, he was amazed. He told the news reporters that the zoo was all cleaned up and the tiger was back, plus a saber-toothed one. That day on television, James and his mother and father were watching the news. What? You were on television?
You're on television watching the news.
Well, there's just like the Batman over the shoulder thing.
Yeah.
YouTube videos. Watching the news when the reporter said the zoo was now open again. Everybody in the whole town was very excited. Even James was happy that the zoo was open again. Who did that? His mother asked. James didn't say anything, although he knew that the person who did it was him. The end.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. That was Tigers on the Hunt, everybody. So good. It's really good.
At what point were they on the hunt?
Don't ask questions. It's a good thing that I found that I've come across that, because it's like I definitely had it in my head as like, this is a really good story I wrote, knowing that it probably wasn't, but like I liked keeping that memory. Now I'm just sad.
You know what though? Honestly, like for a second grade story, that's really not that bad.
You can see the like blips of like cinema.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
No? What?
Oh, you can see the cinema blips running throughout. Like, oh, the opening scene of the movie, and then why the fuck Donald Trump? What are you talking?
They were the biggest tigers ever. 3,000 pounds, maybe.
We have the biggest saber-tooth tiger.
I just caught him with a rope and tied him to a tree.
You never see it coming. I'm glad. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Yeah.
It was really good.
Don't give me credit for it.
No, seriously though, dude.
Was it better than Sideshow? No.
No.
No. If that was a Batman episode, or is Batman instead of me?
If it was a Batman episode that a team of adults like wrote and like created and edited and all that stuff, that would be in the bottom 10. But again, like
a child,
dude, as a second grader, like I give you props. That was pretty good.
All right.
I'm not disappointed.
Well, it's a good thing because this is the next Watchtower Database skit script, actually. So,
hell
we're
yeah,
gonna be filming pretty soon. It's the next season of the story.
I can't wait to get in a green screen suit and uncomfortable plastic armor.
You're the saber-toothed tiger,
and I'm gonna be the saber-tooth and the other tiger. I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. We have tiger suits. We're gonna remove the green parts so that you can't tell it's a person. The cast. You know the cast of the episode?
I want to know the cast of Tigers in the Hunt.
Oh, that's where you're supposed to say, and I'm Brian.
No.
Oh, okay, whoops. I'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy
and I'm Brian.
I knew it. Brad Garrett as Goliath. He is Robert on Everybody Loves Raymond. He's Ray Romano's brother.
Wow.
Character. Bloat the pufferfish in Finding Nemo.
Great.
Tank in an extremely goofy movie.
Oh.
Hydro Man in the Fantastic Four animated series. His first credit was Triptychon in Transformers 5 Faces of Darkness, 1986.
Oh.
And he will be back as several other characters. Whitby Hertford as Billy. Now, he plays Jacob in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Maddie will go, oh! He's also the little boy criticizing Sam Neill's character near the start of Jurassic Park. He's the kid like, Velociraptors, what the fuck are you talking about? And he goes up and, here's the claw. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that kid. He's Billy the Seal Boy. Aaron Kincaid as Killer Croc. Kenneth Mars as Richard. He is Grandpa Longneck in Land Before Time 2 through 12.
We're getting a lot. 12?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we had Grandma Longneck's voice actor, Linda Gary, has had a couple parts in episodes in the past. He is Otto Mancuser in Malcolm in the Middle. He's King Triton in The Little Mermaid. The voice of King Triton.
Oh, okay.
He plays a character, unfortunately, named Native American in Duckman Private Dick.
Oh, there we go again.
And you may know him as Inspector Kemp in Young Frankenstein. Following in his grandfather's footsteps, that guy.
I played Inspector Kemp.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. By the way, that's when I was thinking of Seal Boy. That's the condition.
Thalidomide.
Thalidomide. I think it had an F at the beginning of it.
Okay, interesting.
Those are the like.
So it does exist. They do exist. the Santa Claus. Interesting. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Steel Boy. Steel Boy, not a good name. Don't call him that.
No, don't call him freaks.
Yeah. That's it. No, wait. One more. We got Jo Beth Williams as May and June. A bunch of random small roles, but her main notable thing was she is the mom in Poltergeist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yowza.
Interesting choice. Tribs. Right after Croc says, "Who are you calling human?" Billy's shirt and shorts switch colors. When June explains to Croc what additional raiment means during dinner, Croc's eyes change color several times from yellow and black to blue and white. He gets like normal human eyes. I didn't see it.
Definitely didn't catch that.
When Croc first takes the pitchfork, it has curved prongs.
Called it.
As he tries to poke Batman through the cage bars, it suddenly has straight prongs. Yeah, you were like, that was curved a second ago. The episode is based on the comic story A View from the Grave, Detective Comics number 410 from April 1971 by Denny O'Neil. That story did not feature Croc, but Kano Wiggins, a death row escapee.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I thought that was a little interesting how they're describing so Batman in this says I'm looking for like a half man, half crocodile, and I was thinking have we confirmed in this show that he's actually part reptile or something? Because I think in the
was it more of a metaphor?
Yeah, I think in the first episode he has a skin condition or something is what they said. But in more recent interpretations of the character, he is much more. He has a tail, he has scales, he has all this reptile shit, and he's big and green. And
well, also, what about the chewing through the hardest metal?
That's the thing is, he says crocodiles have the strongest jaws. I'm like, but you are not a crocodile. You are a
maybe
man.
This is the start of him being a crocodile.
He also says though No, like they put me in a tank and threw me raw fish and all this stuff. And it was just kind of interesting to think of, like, clearly he's making that up, but maybe he wasn't. I don't know. What?
They put me in a Panzer and fed me sashimi.
Yeah. They put me in a Sherman U.S. Army standard tank.
Have you ever had unagi? It's delicious.
It was just being pampered. Like, our strongest soldier, put him in the tank.
Give him some
I'm hungry, General. Yeah. God. So dumb.
Love that.
Yeah. This and The Demon's Quest Part 2 are the only 2 episodes in the series to take place completely outside of Gotham City.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't HGTV take place completely outside of the city
It was
too?
in the city.
When was it in the city?
The whole time.
It was in the suburbs.
It's in the city, though. It's in Gotham City.
Oh, okay.
All right. After they fall from the train, Croc almost duplicates the story Batman in disguise as Croc told in Almost Got Him. He picks up a big rock and nearly hits Batman with it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like,
timeline
does that
things?
take place before Almost Got Him and Batman is recalling when this happened? Because he was knocked out.
Oh,
or
right.
does he just coincidentally make that up and then Croc does it later? You know, I don't know.
Unless he's hyper aware of the fact that, like, I made the joke. Like, he's like coming to it, like, oh, I don't remember this rock being here, or whatever.
Or Batman made the joke, but Croc, because we had a conversation during Almost Got Him of, like, when, what was it, Batman the whole time, or was there a point when he swapped out with Croc or something? Maybe like Croc, or maybe Croc was just like he got pulled off screen and is, like, you know, knocked out somewhere. But he overheard Batman being like, "Oh, I'm a stupid idiot. I'm Killer Croc," like making fun of him. I threw a rock at him. So then later he's like, "Oh, I'll show you. I'll throw a fucking rock at you. You want to see how?" And then just misses. Who knows?
Wow.
There's so many interpretations.
Yeah, I like that one.
May and June are based on famed real-life conjoined
Months.
twins Daisy and Violet Hilton. What?
Real life months they were based on.
Oh, yes, sorry, of the year. Who appeared in the cult horror film Freaks, 1932.
Oh, yeah.
In a 1998 interview with the Animated Bat fan site, director Boyd Kirkland listed this among his favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series that he worked on, due to getting me out of Gotham and into the forest, and also described the opening act storyboarded by Kurt Gaeta as wonderful. Yeah, I think that's all the forest stuff.
Yeah.
So that tracks. Last thing I've got is Richard shares his name with King Richard III, which he mentions lead character of Shakespeare's play of the same name. Both Richards are rudely stamped, born hunchbacks. And then he has a couple, I'm not going to read them, but he has a bunch of lines from Shakespeare that he is from Richard III.
Wow.
You see? That's his name. He says that.
Wow.
Keen effects in this. We got the water splashes when they're running through the water. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nothing else really stands out as a keen effect. It was pretty standard.
It was pretty standard. It was more in like the storytelling and visuals.
Yeah, the visuals weren't like the big draw or whatever.
No, they were just nice and consistent. There's some good background stuff. There's some cool. We talked about the keenest of effects already.
Yeah, we did. Batman's usefulness. He did find Croc and get him taken down, but he lost him in the forest and was bad.
How did he call the cops?
That's a good point. Maybe just like, okay, you circus guys, keep him tied up. I'm gonna run all the way back to town and then come back. Yeah, I don't know. Because there's a crossfade to the next scene. That's how he called the cops.
Oh my God! He has a reverse bat signal.
It shines onto himself.
No, it's like the shape.
The police. It's the GCPD is what it says.
It's like the police building. It's like the skyline of Gotham, and he just like
the blimp signal. Why did they have a blimp? Perfect moment for a blimp. I will give Batman 7. This tube, I guess, must be hollow and has the money in it. Out of 10. It makes a slightly different sound when I touch it. Out of 10.
Okay, 7. I will. Yeah, I'm gonna meet your 7. Just even 7s across the board here. I'm gonna give him 7 rifles hanging on a wall, one of which is gonna turn to confetti,
and also hooks that are there,
and hooks that are just there.
He does like a pole vault. I forgot about.
Oh, he does do a pole vault.
Yep.
Dang.
Batman's got all the
7
tricks.
towels. Perfectly folded towels.
Those were blankets, Brian.
I meant to say blankets, but he was
in
wet. So
that were much brighter than the surroundings. It's just blankets floating in a void.
seven self-illuminated blankets floating in the void out of 10.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Batman was pretty bumbling in the forest, I guess. Like, he didn't do a great job of...
He was consistent. He was slow but consistent.
Yeah. I don't know.
But also, like, okay, we saw a moment of Killer Croc being like, yeah, I got the money. Oh, the kid's here. Maybe I'm not going to take the money. And, like, you know, what's going to happen in the future? Like, if Batman didn't show up, would he have changed his ways?
Would he have killed them all and took the money and left? Yeah.
No. Would he have, like, reverted and just been like, you know what? This is a good place for me.
Well, I think... Yeah, you were like yelling at the TV, like, "No, Croc, don't do it. You could have a new life." Like, so he did have the chance, but he was already immediately giving up as soon as he heard there was $50,000.
Well, that could just be the tension, you know, and to
where's the yeah? I guess
like,
if he found the money and then had some other scene where maybe it made him rethink doing it, because he was like helping them move the tractor and do things.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. He could have had a new life.
He could have.
I thought that was kind of funny that Killer Croc's like model sheet character design is him in like blue jeans, but in the start of the thing he's in like a blue jumpsuit, like prison jumpsuit, and then he snags his shirt on a twig or whatever, and it rips all the way. Get this off me. So then he's running, except for the handcuffs, he's then running around as essentially his base character model. And I was thinking, like, is this like a genie thing where, like, I don't know if you've ever I've thought too hard about this, but at the end of Aladdin, Genie gets freed and his little cuffs come off. But then the next time you see him in the like animated series and the sequel movies and stuff, he just has the cuffs again because he kind of looks naked without them. Like they're part of his like design, but he's not like, you know, enslaved or whatever anymore. He's free, so he shouldn't have those. So I just felt like the same kind of thing of like, he must have blue pants but shirtless. He can't wear a shirt. I don't know. I don't know. There's a couple other moments that we'll get 2 years from now in shows where it just seems like they have to revert the character to like, this is what's on the model sheet. They have to like return them to the base idea or something. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it is literally just like communication with the animation company or something.
I don't know. It just seems weird that they would like make him goodbye. It doesn't matter. Who cares but me? This is one of those things. Is this books or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Yeah.
But like with country music in the background.
it's hip hop that you hear on the speakers in the 3-ring circus before the show begins.
Oh, is that a thing?
I don't know. It is now.
All
Are we
right.
putting this on the top 10, Brian? Do you want to see your top 10?
I'd
pulling it up. Okay. AKA, what if we just had a normal title up here, is what the document says. And I also didn't notice that you had changed all of my episode titles to have double O's. Reuben's Reckoning, Leather Wings, etc. I like the man who killed Bootman. That's not even you would have an O before that.
Don't mind me.
Beware the gray goose. Anyway.
I'm surprised I didn't just go with goose on that one.
But are you putting this above any of your choices here? You got Nothing to Fear at the bottom.
Nothing to Fear is pretty good, man.
Do you remember Nothing to Fear? You just told me it. You admitted in the car that you barely remembered Heart of Ice.
But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Look at this headlight action that's going on up here.
Yeah, check it out, listener. There's headlights shining in the window. They've got cool lens flares, keen effects.
Wow, look at how keen the effects.
Greetings.
Good readings, headlights.
Good readings, headlights.
Nothing to Fear is the first Scarecrow episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what was good about it? Do you remember?
I mean, I like Scarecrow.
I do think that at the end of this, I'm just saying, I think at the end of this, we should watch back our top 10s.
Yeah.
And not necessarily change any of them, but like see if they're in the right order to us or whatever, or just to revisit them in general and just watch good episodes.
I still really do. And I just always forget, like, I want to have, like a sentence or two.
Here's why I liked it.
Well, just like the description of it. Right. So you're like, what do you like about Nothing to Fear? Like, I'm sure if we start talking about it, it'd be like, all these things.
We
but
can
right
do
now,
that
I'm like,
off the air and like right after this.
Yeah. So would you enlighten my Nothing to Fear?
Nothing.
Brain? You can also cut this later if you want.
Well, Nothing to Fear is famously the "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman" line. I am the tiger. I'm the tigers on the hunt. I believe in God. I mean, it's not a bad episode. It got off my top 10 pretty quickly because there's better episodes, but
maybe I was just latching onto it because I like the idea of Scarecrow.
Yeah, it's also Scarecrow's like goofiest look, and then he's like got like a big sock on his head. He doesn't have the creepy face yet.
Well, maybe it's time because Shadow of the Bats.
Shadow of the Bat parts 1 through 2.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to kick off Nothing to Fear because obviously it hasn't that big of an impact.
Sideshow made someone's top 10 btas list.
Yeah.
This is a glorious day.
It's been a couple of rough days, but it's a great one. Sideshow.
Yours isn't that. I'm not going to put it on mine because I feel like Eternal Youth and Beware the Grey Goose are both definitely better. Like those are my bottom 2 right now. Of the
I know,
top 10.
dude. Beware the Grey Ghost is going to be really hard for me to kick, even though it's number 8.
Yeah.
I guess it's number 9 for you.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll get there.
Sweet. Well, I got an upgrade.
You did, but I didn't. I'm not gonna put it on we can't put it on the bottom 10 because you put it on the top 10.
Hell no.
That's how it works. We go to the mail now. The mail from the listener.
Wow. Let me go check the mailbox.
Check it. Oh my God. The other night, bowling party that I went to with Jessica's work, and I thought it was gonna be way more like professional of an atmosphere or whatever. It was just a free for all, like so many people there. It was a good time. But the end, they wanted a photo of all the bank employees, and I was 4 beers in, and for some reason I held the phone camera. And I said, "Say bowling," and they all went bowling. I took the picture, and then after I'm like, "Why the fuck did I say that?"
I just like the idea of everybody's expression. Like, at what point did you take that? Was it like the bowl or the ing
and the ing? Yeah,
it's like kind of a smile, unless you catch people on the end. Bowling.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know, the most like soccer stepmom thing that I could have said. It's a new genre, I think.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Here's a mail song.
Yeah. That yacht. That one small extra yacht put it over.
We drop.
What we drop?
Our weekly yachts.
Oh yeah, those.
Into the comment box. There sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're wrong.
At least I am.
Just Dylan Pollock.
Wow, that was a cool harmony that Kimmy did with herself just there.
Kimmy always does that there at the end.
She does always do that there.
She does
I
that.
Adjust my levels. Sorry, future James.
Are you too loud?
I was too quiet.
You were too quiet? Why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the Yoppie Mail section. If you want to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the Cat in the Claw Part 2, you too can email us at batwagonpod@gmail.com. This is where we do this part now.
Did you add a syllable into email?
No.
Okay. Are you sure?
Email. What did I say? I don't know. Please keep voice messages under 60 seconds, 1 per person. You can also shoot us a comment on today's episode on the Podtower YouTube channel. We'll be reading all sorts of stuff on here on the place where we do the thing. This first one is from Pedro Enrique. Thoughts on House and Garden. Glad to see you guys back on the podcast. Hello,
Thanks.
Brian and James. How are you? Oh, they've specified. I've written Brian's name first. Let's talk about House and Garden. Let's start with what I liked about this episode. The monster was pretty scary. A lot of good body horror. It reminded me of John Carpenter's The Thing. And that's it. Sadly, I mostly did not enjoy this episode. Brian pointed this out, and it bothered me too. It was the ending with Poison Ivy for some reason craving a domestic life. It just feels wrong. Here we have this character that has two very important characteristics: loving plants so much she'll end all of humanity to save them, and her feminism. And here in this episode, she goes against her character in a weird way.
Well said.
All she really wanted was a normal home life. I know the writers were probably not trying to write something so contradictory with their own character, but it almost looks as if the show is saying silly feminism can be solved by a good marriage. Whoa. Overall, the good parts of the episode are very good, but the bad stuff just really brings it down for me. Looking forward to the next episodes, as I think this season does have a certain theme with its villains. Maybe I'll send a voice message next, tired of correcting my own writing. Until next week, stay Yoppie. Thanks. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's very... I think that's a good reading of that, or a true reading of that. Although I'm sure they weren't attempting to say that on purpose or whatever.
Yeah, it does come across as a very Wizard of Oz kind of thing, though, doesn't it? Like in the books, it's like Dorothy never leaves Oz, and in the movie, it's like, I'm back at home where I belong because I'm a woman.
I also hadn't thought of that one that way. But
oh yeah, L. Frank Baum was actually like a really like staunch feminist. Like he was like one of like the first wave like hardcore feminists, and all of his books are actually written as such. He always has like women protagonists and such.
Yeah, I know the books are like pretty universally loved or whatever. My mom had a whole collection of them that just lives at my grandparents' house, I think, and so occasionally I'll stumble on those and flip through a little bit. Like there's so much more lore to that than you would ever know about from just like, yep, that was one movie that I've seen. So
yep. Yeah. The books are incredible, and for anybody out there who's like not opposed to reading on a screen, all of the books are part of Project Gutenberg, so you can just like read the whole series for free.
That's cool. Okay. They're old enough now or whatever. Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is from Jordan Newman. Sideshow. Question on the new mail policy. Does text in email count as separate mail from an audio message attached to an email if you can only read one? And having read this far, do you now have to disregard the wonderful GCN clip I prepared for you this week?
Yes.
No, I think... yeah, sorry. Next voice. No, I think that it's... if you got a little tagged on thing like that, that's totally fine. Just don't send like a full... novel length email and then also a voice message and then also a comment. You could comment. I just won't read it here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sideshow, Jordan Newman. Here we go.
Welcome back to GCN, Gotham City News with Jack Ryder.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight's top story, Killer Croc, while being transported aboard a train, broke free of his chains and escaped. A reported quote from an eyewitness here, "Wake me if he breaks out." That would be a story. Sorry. Anyway, Batman apprehended him outside the city. It's a pretty standard Friday in Gotham. Now over to the music. I think I didn't notice a Killer Croc leitmotif, and I don't really remember noticing one last time. And I'm not sure if I just wasn't paying close enough attention or if he just doesn't have one. But if he doesn't have one, he's the only... big name recurring villain so far to not have a leitmotif. I just found that interesting. Also, Brian, last time on the Mask of the Phantasm episode, when I sent in a voice recording, you asked about the dog in my profile picture. That's a Border Collie. Welcome back, guys.
Nice. I love a Border Collie. Well, actually, Border Collies are a love-or-hate kind of dog because they're so bloody smart that you either get like a great one and it's the best behaved dog ever, or it's super neurotic and like needs to herd sheep, or it's gonna go insane.
I love the way I love a Border Collie. Well, just kidding. Like immediately.
Some of my favorite dogs that I know in the world are Border Collies, and some of my least favorite dogs that I know are Border Collies.
Is that the same dog that Adam has, or is that different?
No, she's an English Springer Spaniel.
See, I don't know. They look similar.
Yeah, you suck.
Dog black and white or dog brown? That's what James knows. Anyway, this is from Dino Faced Individual Sideshow Hench Reviews. Comment submitted by The Second Main Man. Reference Brick will understand soon. Oh, this is supposed to be Goliath. Okay. It's not easy. What the hell is a Goliath?
It's not easy living life as a gullible group of likable characters, especially as the big buff guy with the heart of gold in my case. Oh, right. Croc. Wait, why am I using this site? I wasn't a henchman, right? Anyways, I'm back to writing this comment, and after having a little identity crisis, how would I rate Croc as a boss? I mean, I thought he was cool. Turns out he's just kind of just a giant scale dick jackass. I'll rate him 2 out of 5. Seriously, we were gonna sing Gooble Gobble One of Us to him and everything. That's from the Freaks movie. Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's been a while. But, you know.
I don't have the energy for that this morning.
I know. It's been. Scotty Cameron. Hey, Yoppie dudes.
Hey.
Great show as always.
Thank you.
Liked the discussion of House and Garden, particularly when it came to how odd it was seeing Batman following Ivy in broad daylight through farmers markets. Wouldn't it have been easier to tail her as Bruce Wayne? I did. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Oh my God! What? Why didn't? Come on!
Maybe they did like the idea of Batman in a tree in broad daylight.
I guess so.
I did find the faces of Ivy's monsters underwhelming. They could have used sharper teeth. Now on to Sideshow. Well, Yoppie boys and girls, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Here it is. Killer Croc finally throws a rock at Batman. I hope the moment lived up to the hype. Also, I thought the episode was going to include a backstory for Killer Croc because clips of it get used in videos. Like I believe Watch Mojo's supervillain Origins Killer Croc uses clips from this episode when discussing Croc's origin story. Turns out it had nothing to do with Croc's origin story, despite Brian's guess. This is from... I don't know why this is in the Yoppie Mail. For some reason, I must have sent my absence from band the other night report using the Yoppie Mail, using the Jump on the Bat-Wagon email address. I did not mean to do that. Scarloey 1, Jump on the Mechanic Wagon, Season 2, Episode 2.
Bring it.
Hello, listener, and welcome back to Jump on the Mechanic Wagon. I'm your host, Scarloey 1. In this episode, I will tell you about Season 2, Episode 2 of Earl, the animated series, The Freak is In. While Earl was walking down the street, he saw a homeless man. Earl gave the man some money, and the man said, "Thank you, kind sir. No one has ever been so kind to me because of my condition." "What condition?" asked Earl. Dramatically, the man looked into the sky and said, I'm ambidextrous." Later, Earl was talking to Batman. "I wish there was something I could do to help that freak. Maybe there's something I could do." A few days later, Earl was walking down the street when the man came up to him and said, "Guess what? I got a job at Wayne Enterprises. They said if I minimize the use of my left hand, there shouldn't be a problem." It's great to have you back, Jirai Gumo and Battle in Boxer Glassjaw. Anyway, see you next week. Same pee-pee time, same poo-poo channel.
I really don't love, and it's not your fault, Scarlet, but I really don't love all the use of freak throughout all of this. We should try to tone that back next time, probably, but, you know, just throughout the episode and this, but, you know, whatever. I do like the it reminds me of the Johnny Bravo. It was the two-armed man. He went that way. So good stuff. This is from KM. Jump on the Bat-Wagon comments and pronunciation. Oh, no. Okay, maybe we'll finally settle this. Hi, Jim Jam and the Teen Titans villain Brother Blood.
So
I was really enjoying custom voicemails that use themes from the episode you two just watched, such as Jump on the Mechanic Wagon or GCN. I decided I could do something like that, too, and have found a unique gimmick. I really like that gimmick, but it's not really usable for BTAS. In later shows, specifically STAS and JLU, it will work great, but in remaining parts of BTAS, there aren't many episodes I could send a voicemail like that. Still, I could send unrelated voice messages now and then. Would you two want me to explain how to pronounce my name via voicemail next week? It is not that hard. I just couldn't explain it very well initially. Or would you prefer to keep it as KM? To me, both choices are okay. I would definitely take a voice message, how to say, like literally you saying your name.
Yeah.
Oh, you are on Sideshow, also known as I Threw a Rock at Him, the episode. I like the idea of Batman and Almost Got Him telling a real story, but this episode is after Almost Got Him, both in airing and production order. Are both of the orders wrong? This timeline and watching order stuff are really confusing. I wish there was a YouTube channel who explained that stuff. I think this episode is the third villain reforming story after Birds of a Feather and House and Garden. Those episodes usually turn out pretty good, just like House and Garden being my favorite Poison Ivy episode and Birds of a Feather being my favorite Penguin episode. I'll admit that it not really a big achievement, but it still counts. Sideshow is my favorite Killer Croc episode. I really like the action scenes and visuals, story, and seeing Batman in a place that we are not used to. Circus freaks in The Farm are like a more realistic version of X-Men. Being a mutant usually doesn't give you superpowers. Episode is not top 10 material, but it is pretty good. Thank you. It is pretty good. Last is Tip Tapricot. Contemplations on Sideshow. Also, loved all the refreshed sounds and songs. Cooney, the synopsis song is absolutely lovely and so good, and you did such a lovely job. And that is very true.
Agreed.
Welcome back, listeners, to late night and low quality contemplations on my set of earbuds with a bad microphone. This turn, it's on Sideshow. I actually really like this episode in general. I don't think it was the most interesting episode that it could have been. But it was an interesting look at a Croc's character. I really like his design in btas. I like how his mouth is drawn. It's a cool mouth. They also should have restrained that mouth on the train, which was followed by an escape, and then several minutes of Batman and Killer Croc grunting and panting along an expanse of nature. I forgot about the Steel Boy until the episode was going, and I think it was a bit like, if it was a bit longer, there could have been more digging into why Croc is the way he is, why he hesitates to immediately go against the circus folk, but also turns on them so fast once Batman and his past comes into the picture.
Agreed.
But at the same time, I feel like the abrupt change kind of gives us a good view as well. Found myself actively thinking about his character during this episode in a way that I liked, even if it isn't the most interesting or well-executed one. So, welcome back, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, that might have been a fun thing to do, especially because this is the only time so far that he hasn't just been like, these bad.
Right, yeah. It would have been a good moment to give him some depth.
Yeah. And never forget Seal Boy. I don't know how you could do that. How could you do that to my Seal Boy? Let's go to voice messages on Anchor. We'll probably, let me guess, how many do you guess we have? I guess one from Dylan Pollock. And that's actually it. So, there's no Key Machine this week. Again, Key Machine, what is it? Where are you?
Is Keen getting lost in the void again?
Are you, yeah, are you in the like, sound effect place, wherever that was? Dylan Pollock, so I threw a voice message at them.
It's time for the Thoughts of the Week from Dylan Pollock on Sideshow, or Everybody Hates Goliath. So, of course, you start this episode with your classic prisoner train transport, because Batman the Animated Series takes place in 1894, or 1944, or 1994? I don't know anymore. Is this the time that Croc, or I guess Batman in Disguise, is referencing in his story of Almost Got Him when he threw a rock at him?
Yes.
Croc says,
Definitely.
"Don't believe Batman. I'm not a cold-hearted killer." They ask him, "What should we do?" And he says, "We gotta kill him, of course." I'm always conflicted by the end of this also. Is it just that Croc is irredeemable and a terrible guy? Like, if they didn't have the 50 grand, would he have maybe been different and wanted to stay with them?
Ooh.
But that's not the question of the week, James, your favorite part. This is.
Yeah, okay.
You each are forced to join a circus troupe. What will your talent or your act be to perform with them?
Like, already been there and done that,
buddy. Brian has several to choose from. I'm sure I'll be in a musical aspect of it in some way. The end. There, the shortest answer of the week ever imaginable. All right, let's go to comments on last episode, which was House and Garden or the Sloth Took My Dick. I forgot to tell you or show you. I made a TikTok. I'm gonna try to make TikToks of like funny clips from the most recent episode each week, so that to like promote like, hey, you should go listen to this, because I realize that nobody knows what the podcast actually sounds like unless they choose to listen to an episode, because there's so many like, we're watching through BTAS podcasts, so like, whatever, I've seen those before, why would I listen to this? But you got to hear our goofy, stupid idiot antics.
You got to hear the antics. Listen for the antics. Come for the
Batman.
Come for the Batman. Stay for the antics.
Come for the dick. Anyway, this is from Ashley Tutchin. Legend said
Australian?
that when the world, from Australia. God. Legend said that when the world needed them most, they would return. The two yoppiest dudes the world had ever seen. To some, they're heroes, but to us, they're Dylan Pollock and Keen Machine. Oh, and Brian and James are back too. Hi, guys. You know, with that snazzy new intro, I was worried that the show would be too polished now, without any of the chaotic charm that we all know and love. It took me about 12 seconds to realize I didn't have anything to worry about. Anyway, that was one of the more chaotic episodes, too.
Yeah, it was.
I love House and Garden. It's definitely got some of the most twisted imagery in the entire show, and it's probably the best Ivy story. Great start to the new year, guys. I can't wait to see what 2023 holds in store for the podcast.
Me too.
Me too. Charles Motosierra. Regarding Sideshow, I predict most people are going to comment on the episode's story, but it must be acknowledged how great the action is, especially that final sequence on the mill. Also cool how Croc was doing the I got the high ground meme 12 years before Revenge of the Sith. Very true. I clocked that when he's up with the gun in the window. You can't get me, bats. I got the high ground or whatever. Before Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, I didn't register that at all.
Serum Lake. I've always thought that Sideshow was an underrated episode. The animation's pretty good. I like some of the little details that were included, like the tea leaking out of the side of Croc's mouth when he was drinking. I guess teacups weren't designed with crocodile men in mind. And the music was solid. My favorite part is the last exchange between Croc and Billy. It really broke my heart. Croc was being himself, a scummy, lying thief.
Very true. Man.
Now that tea. That poor tea. Jake Barrett. This is a light episode. Oh, sorry.
Jake Barrett is Australian.
This is Australian. This is an aight episode. I love the weird plant, baby, clone, cactus, sloth creature thing. And the thought, the return of Dick was nice and pleasant after Mask of the Phantasm. The return of Dick. It made me chuckle at Batman hiding in trees in broad daylight. Does anyone not notice him? Anyway, great to see you two Yoppie boys back in May. Juan Pedro. Man, what a wonderfully creepy and tragic episode. Goodbye, Ivy. I sure hope the airdate order will not make the ending of this episode any less impactful. I'm very happy to have my favorite podcast back. My life has changed a little bit since the last episode. I'm now officially a journalist, and I'm working in Spain, so it's very nice to have the pod accompanying me in this new adventure. Keep it up, guys, because without this podcast, my life would be less fun. Well, we're here for you. That's pretty cool. Congrats.
And I hope where are you in Spain? I love Spain. Spain is great.
Just Spain. You can just go to Spain. You'll find them.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Small place.
Fantastic. The Return. Woo! That's it. Zane Beatty, the new Synopsis song throws schoolhouse rock vibes. Definitely a win. I'll take it. Channel 99 Productions. Wait, Brian, what do you have against Bugs Bunny? What the hell, man? It's weird.
Yeah, it's just really.
I
don't know, like Bugs doesn't set the tone for me. I don't have anything against Bugs Bunny per se, but
I don't hate that little ditty thing at the start the way you do.
Yeah.
But I just think it's unnecessary because we already have the WB logo show up and then fade into a blimp. Why do you need oh, by the way, also it's Warner Brothers up top in front of that? I know.
I think because that's the point of stingers and the is okay, this is our property and now you get to see it. And it was just that they happened to animate the WB logo into it anyway. So it's well, that's on the Batman people, but we got to have our shit here.
I guess, yeah, if they do it somewhere, one other place, they got to do it everywhere or something.
Yeah.
Nick Sorensen, easily have to be my favorite of the btas Poison Ivy episodes. I love how Ivy, in her own twisted way, wanted to create the perfect and happy family life for herself, even if it meant that she'll have to resort to crime and hold the real Carlisle against his will to maintain her convincing facade. The plant clone babies waking up from their pods is still one of the most creepy and unsettling scenes they've done in the series. Here's to a new year of new podcast episodes with our favorite and fun Yoppie duo. They're, of course, referring to Dylan Pollock and Keen Machine.
Of course.
Cooney Phoenix, hello! Oh, they start with that. Hello! I'm currently in Japan on a study tour. Oh, so I'm making my roommate listen to this as we chill in our hotel room. She says it's very funny, and I see why you listen to this, so I'll consider that a win. Hey, that's cool.
Thank you, Cooney Phoenix's roommate. We hope you stick around.
We're big in Japan. The entire bit about Dick, I was dying LMAO. But also, hey, I'm glad you liked my song. Of course we like your song. It's very cute, very good. So here's to a new yapping year of the DCAU and lots of laughter. Thanks for your hard work on the podcast, and I hope you have a nice day. We hope you have a nice day.
Oh, my God.
That's a good comment.
Chaotic day.
Not after this. Not after this. It'll be nice after this. Don't worry. It's sunny outside.
It is sunny. It's sunny outside.
Sunny outside.
I can't believe it's sunny there.
It is, yeah, me neither. Luis Felipe, one of my favorite BTAS episodes, certainly one of the most heartbreaking too. Yeah. Carly Barrett, did someone say costumes? In modern Maine, yeah, we did. Thanks for being here to be the costume person. In modern Maine Universe comics, it's usually explained that Robin's costume is based on the Flying Grayson's costumes from the circus. I personally like Robin's costume. It's comic accurate, although to a different Robin. And anything is better than Chris O'Donnell's dick armor in Batman Forever. That's true.
Agreed.
It's like a weird, like, what you would normally be like a cloth costume, but just like shaped into muscles. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I never liked it.
It's really taking codpiece to the extreme.
I'd said that to you in the podcast. I think that Robin's costume is based on like circus stuff, and you're like, no, that's red, white, and black.
Right.
And I'm like, Harley Quinn in my brain listening back to that.
Yeah, honestly.
But is that across the board, every circus must be these three colors? Like, I don't think so.
You'll find, especially in like the late 2010s to, well, like actually like all the 2010s into the teens-ish.
Just a trend or something?
That it was basically like if you had a circus troupe, you are... Unless you're performing for a specific like venue or event that requires a specific look, it just everybody was doing black, white, and red, like black and white stripes with some red accent.
Okay, well, go tell Dick's dead parents.
I will.
Although it is weird, like I think that the Robin costume being based off the Flying Graysons thing in Batman Forever, strangely enough, is like their literal costumes as the Flying Graysons are just like the Robin suit in like a cloth version. But or spandex or whatever. But the in this cartoon, we've already seen that the Flying Graysons are in like big flowery, like or feathery, not that at all costumes.
Like
so
a lot
I don't
of
know.
tulle, I think, right?
Maybe his Robin suit should just look like that. I don't know. Batgirl Fangirl Sideshow. Every time I see this one, I forget that Bruce is disguised as the reporter at the start. Yeah, we didn't even notice that until he started Superman taking off his coat. So it turns out all it takes to fool me is to wear a fake mustache. Boy, they must be very high up at the start on the train. They fall from the carriage off a railway bridge, then fall from the hillside down some more, and then are confronted by a vast canyon that goes down and down and down. Gotham City must be very high up indeed. It's like at sea level, but also so high above sea level.
Maybe it's just like a really big lake and they're at like 16,000 feet or something.
They're just in a little island in the middle of a giant lake. I do hope someone gave Batman a lift back to Gotham at the end. Otherwise, he's got a very long walk back ahead of him. Yeah, we kind of talked about that with how did he even tell the police or whatever.
Yeah.
I've not watched this one in a while. I must say I really enjoyed it. What struck me most was how well animated it was. All the environments and backgrounds have so much detail in them. I get the feeling they enjoyed getting Batman outside of the city for a change.
Probably.
The episode was very well paced as well, especially on the opening chase through the woods and the fighter on the water wheel. Yeah, nobody knows what that's called, apparently. Is it just called a water wheel? I don't know. A good story, well told, not surprising given the quality of the writers involved. Well voice acted with a great guest. With great music. I was like, who is the guest? I don't know how I read music as guest. I'm just stupid. I liked this and the earlier Croc stories very much indeed. Wonderful tune, Cooney Phoenix, great messages, Tip Apricot, Scarlowy Dylan, and Scarface Nate. Keep keen podcast, James, Brian, and Kat. And 5 stars and 5 false mustaches. Got it. I can't read right now. I don't know what's going on.
I love that Manchi is getting a credit.
Podcat.
Ooh.
Super Luigi 64. Oh, thank God, a cure for my yop withdrawals. Carly Barron added on. I figured whatever you were up to involves plants. Batman says to Poison Ivy, world's greatest detective. 1C209. I'm so happy to see you two back. Can't wait to see what more yoppy antics you guys get up to. Lanola Cola, the dynamic duo of Brother James and Brother Broderick are back, and with the most yoppy of new theme songs. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Thompson, I always adored this episode. Creepy, cool, and jam-packed with Jim Cummings' Cactus Man growl-em-ups. It was also the origin of my prediction for dropping the thought experiment of, would you give up blank for an immunity to toxins and poisons on my nonplussed friends? Insert sense of smell, lactose intolerance, ability to see the color pink. Man, I'm fun at parties. Nope.
Wait, is that an ability to only see the color pink or inability to see the color pink?
With the power to only see pink.
I got a friend that I was actually in an art class with back in high school that can see black, white, and yellow.
Wow.
That's it.
It's like there was a TV at the bowling alley that was only blue and red, and everything else was black and white. And I thought I was like dying looking at it for a while. Like, what is happening here? But I realized it was just the TV.
I like that you didn't look around you to check.
No, just fixated on the TV.
Like, well, I'm definitely dying according to this small box on the wall.
Is the ability to only see pink? Is that like? Everything looks normal, but it's just hues of pink? Or is it you can only see just a pink wilderness, like just infinite pink void?
Oh, God. I don't like either of those options.
There was like some drum corps camp where we were discussing like what's the worst superpower you could possibly have. Like, and then the answer that we all agreed on was the ability to turn into a laptop for forever. So you can
that's pretty terrible.
So you can do it once, and then you're always a laptop after that.
Yep, that doesn't sound great.
Mark Aquino, final first comment. New year, new yop. House and Garden was actually a decent episode, all things considered. Not the best Paul Dini script, not the worst either. But boy, did it go in a certain direction in the third act that even I didn't see coming. It gave me some major John Carpenter's The Thing vibes, and even slight WandaVision vibes given Ivy's sympathetic motivations. The animation from Dong Yang was actually pretty good this time too. I reckon after Mask of the Phantasm, the animation from this point on needs to be solid at the very least, because that's pretty much raised the bar. This also had probably one of the more random guest voices in btas so far, voice acting legend Jim Cummings and a pre-Will and Grace Megan Mullally. That's the DCAU, baby. Hacha! Maluli. Love the new Watchtower video, James. It's almost half an hour on detail as minuscule as Superman's cheekbones. In the immortal words of Bruno Mars, that's what I like. For those keeping up with the... immortal, I don't know. Those keeping up with the sad, embarrassing escapades of that Yoppie Tower survey, whoever it was that filled in their slot with the entire script of Stuart Little 2, you have my respect and admiration. All I did was submit the lyrics to that freecreditreport.com commercial jingle, but that's going the extra mile, and I respect that. Do you remember this? Is for ordering their merch, you had to fill out like a Google survey, and it was like impossible to finish correctly or whatever. Like you had to,
right, yeah.
Would you like me to actually send you your merch? And the answer was like you could only click no or something.
Yeah.
Big bus bear hugs to the #1 podcast hosts in this here multiverse of ours. I just want to Jamie all night long, and Babylon starring Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt in theaters now. Praise to our Lord and Savior Dylan Pollock. Love your podcast, do great work. His loyal disciples, Scarlo A1, Batgirl, Fangirl, Scotty, Cameron, Wency 209, Tip Tapper, Garkeen Machine, Banana Man, etc. Where the hell's Banana Man? What's
my
going
God.
on? Where is everybody? And all the awesome sauce listeners of this Yoppie community of ours, you all the best. Never forget that. Here's to 2023 being the best year for the podcast yet. Until next week, smoke bomb.
I think we need to not take a 5-month break from now on.
That's true. If we don't go from December to May, maybe people would remember. But
yeah.
That's okay. That's the end of the mail.
Hooray!
And now we press this button, right?
Goodbye.
Oh, shit. That used to be the right one. Oh, it's this one. Back to the past. Bye. What was in there?
Mail.
Oh, cool.
Let's go to the mail.
That was, yeah, we're still here. Thank you to Kimmy, Cooney, Phoenix, and of course Brother Broderick for all our musical themes this episode. Thank you, listener, for listening to this episode. Please subscribe to the Podtower YouTube channel for all new DCAU podcast episodes every week, and please leave us a 5-star review on whatever the hell you listen to this on. You may hear your review read on the show, especially if it's Apple Podcasts. That's the one I can look at. I don't have Spotify because I'm an old man. I'm older than Brian. New episodes of the podcast are released every Friday on the Podtower, as well as your favorite podcast feed and watchtowerdatabase.com. And the next episode of the podcast, the next episode of Batman we're watching, is called Avatar. The Way of Water. It's called Avatar. What do you think it's about?
It's actually called Avatar.
It is called Avatar. It's And whenever people make the joke of like, oh, is it the blue people or the airbender? And like, there's a third one. It's this Batman episode.
Well, I want to break this down like logically and with like Webster's in my back pocket.
Okay.
So like with the idea of an avatar being like a stand-in kind of thing.
Sure.
Is it like a proxy of sorts?
You're going to have to use smaller words.
Is there a someone standing in for a someone? Good or bad?
Kind of. I guess. Yes. Kind of.
Or somebody making a stand-in for themselves.
Kind of. I don't have a better answer than that. Who do you think the bad guy is going to be? I'm not going to tell you yes or no. Just who are you guessing? You can read my face. That wasn't a clue. It doesn't end in face.
True face.
I was going to say that narrows it down for Clayface.
No, I was trying to think of like who would actively like do that level of like trickery. And I feel like I could talk myself into many. Like I could easily talk myself into the Joker doing some kind of dummy thing. I feel like I could talk myself into the Riddler having a riddle thing.
So you're assuming this is all about like Batman thinks this bad guy's doing a thing, but it's not really them or something.
Not necessarily.
Or they're
like a decoy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard. It's
Batman,
really hard.
Mask of the Phantasm. It's not actually Batman.
Masks.
It's an avatar. Yeah. Sorry.
That was an interesting. Here, I'll give a shout out to Dylan. On what? Dylan Pollock. You know the one?
No, just Dylan.
Just all Dylans.
Every Dylan. Well, that's what everybody is anyway. That's all the listeners.
Yeah, we are. Movies to watch before you die. Of course, did a Mask of the Phantasm episode, which you haven't listened to. You should.
I listened to the Tropic Thunder episode, Dylan. Don't you worry.
That was great.
That's good.
But Gab, one of the hosts, was talking about how upset she was with the title of Mask of the Phantasm. And like, nobody even says phantasms.
Yeah.
And so I like wrote the two of them on Instagram. Was like, it wasn't supposed to be that. I have this information now.
I'm Brian. I know things.
I don't know why that came to my mind, but I guess the idea of saying like it's hard to like guess, like guess what's going to happen just off of a single word. Even something like Avatar, which is I think more descriptive than like tree.
Yeah.
Which I'd probably guess like a poison ivy episode or
House
something.
and garden. I don't know. I don't get what the clue could be in the title. Like, come on, Brian, it's the garden person. Well, then you got it eventually.
Yeah, but also like I gotta say, man, like if you know what's gonna happen, it probably sounds like super obvious, but like in hindsight. But like on this side, it's not super straightforward.
I get you.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my super vague previous answer, and yeah, for bad guy, I just don't know. I could guess one, but it's just gonna be a guess.
Okay. Well, before we leave the podcast,
yes,
we'll just leave it at that. Your guess is there's someone doing something. I have a couple of gifts for you, and I need you to go get the beer.
Oh yeah, okay.
Brian's going to get the beer. We did extra stuff this time. Tiger's on the hunt and beer.
All the beer or one beer?
The whole box.
The whole box. Okay.
The whole box. And I need you to bring it my way. Oh, it's a heavy box. I asked Brian specifically what kind of beer he wanted, and he said Modelo or Guinness.
You said something that would be like easily found in any store.
Yes. Well, I didn't want to ask you just outright and have you say like, I prefer this really obscure hippie Portland beer that you've never heard of, and have me go like, I'm
sorry, Lights Out Stout comes out of Bend.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the first gift, which you'll need to not take very much time with and look at later, is this camera from my grandfather.
Oh, you can't do this to me now.
You can't. You wait till the podcast is over to look it over in a nicer way. But
no, I won't.
Yeah, we talked about this in the Mask of the Phantasm episode.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah, that I was getting it for you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's pretty nice. It's not in bad condition. It's for sitting out on the counter for who knows how long. Sitting out on a table.
Oh my God, dude. How dare you say I can't take much time with this?
You can take a little time.
Oh my God.
The listener can see. The second gift is this Hot Wheels I got as a stocking stuffer that's Kit from Knight Rider. These are your Christmas gifts.
Jamie, why?
I actually already gave you Christmas gifts. This is your early birthday gift.
Okay, this is a Lamborghini.
Well, it says Kit. I don't know.
It does. It says
Maybe
Knight
it's
Rider.
Kit decked out, a Lamborghini that looks like Kit or something.
The original was a Pontiac Firebird.
Oh. Jessica's dad gets me Batmobile Hot Wheels as stocking stuffers, and he's gotten me so many over the years. I've brought this up before that I just have a collection now.
Right.
But I have most, I think, of the Hot Wheels Batmobiles at this point. So when he gets me a handful of them for stocking stuffers, there's so many like duplicates. Like, yep, I have that. So I had 3 that weren't duplicates, but one of them I think he thought was a Batmobile, and it's actually Kit. So there you go.
I used to have a car. It was a Firebird that was very, very close to the year of the original Knight Rider car.
Oh, okay.
And one of my favorite things to do when people's first time in my car would be that I would blast the Knight Rider theme song, which I had on my phone. And I'd play that while driving people down around in it.
Okay. Well, now you have that.
Now it's a Lamborghini.
You've brought up Kit like 6 different random times on the podcast. So I was like, I'll give this to Brian.
Hell yeah.
And then my final gift to you,
oh my God.
I bought in Savannah while we were there for Maddie's wedding. And I totally forgot to give it to you the last 2 other times that I've seen you since then. But here you go. It is a bell like you'd see on a front desk. But what does it say on it, Brian? Nope, the other side.
It says ring for a beer.
Oh, well, interesting. I have some here for you. My plan was to fill my entire backpack with these, so you didn't even know the beer was there, and then just pull. And then just have you. How many do you have in there? Would you like another? We want one for each hand. Oh no. This has gotten out of hand. I've handed Brian 3 beers. Oh, we're running out of beers. Not really. There's actually 12 left.
There's 14 more, buddy. That's a dozen and a half beers.
Oh, well, here you go.
Thank
We're going to
you.
end the podcast now. See you next week for Avatar, The Last Airbender / Blue People. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, all set.
Why, Croc? Why'd you turn on us like that? We could have helped you. We could have done something.
You said you can be yourself out here, remember? I guess that's what I was doing. Being myself.